You're welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be drafting a basic bodice pattern for a 1-year-old. So let's get to it. Now I'm going to mark a baseline from which we'll be taking our measurement. So this pattern we're drafting can be used for a 1 to 7 or 8 years old. So you can just use this pattern. From that baseline, I'm going to take my half length measurement, which is 8 inches. So the actual measurement is 7 inches, but I added 1 inch to it as my allowance. Now I'm going to connect that with a straight line. Now I'll be dividing the shoulder measurement by 2. The shoulder measurement is 10. Divided by 2, you have 5. Then I came down by half an inch for the shoulder slope. I took 2.5 as my neck width, then 2 inches as my neck depth. So depending on how wide you want the neck to be, you can just make it to your desired measurement. So I'm just going to connect that with a curve as shown. Now this is the neck that we have. Now from that neckline, I'm going to go down by half an inch that I marked as my shoulder slope. So I just connected it to the neckline. From that shoulder slope, I came down by 4 inches, and that will be for the armhole. Now I'm going to connect it to the shoulder slope as shown. Now I'm taking the chest circumference. I divided it by 4, and what I had was 6 inches. So I added 1.5 inch for seam allowance. In this case, the chest and the waist measurements are usually the same. So you can just take the same thing for the chest and also the waist. So what I took for the chest was what I added to the waist, and I added 1.5 inch for seam allowance. So since they don't have bust, you can just take the chest measurements and it will work perfectly for the waist. Now I'm going to connect the half length to my armhole line. From that shoulder slope, I'm going to mark what I have to my armhole, and I had 4 inches. So I just marked half of it, 2 inches, and from there I'm going to be connecting with my French curve to get an accurate curve as shown. So I'm just going to do this and you see what it looks like. Now this is what I have, and this will be all for the drafting of the front. Now I'm just going to label it as my front, and we'll be drafting the back. So I'm going to cut this out. Now after cutting, this is what it looks like, and this is the half length, and you see how simple it is. Now this front piece, we're going to use it to cut our back piece. So what I'm doing now is to take 1.5 inch from the center front of my paper, the side which is on fold. I'm going to take 1.5 inch, and that will be for my zipper allowance. Now after connecting the line, I'm going to place my front piece on top like so.
making sure it's on that line that I drew. So you're just going to place it like that, and I pinned it down with sellotape so it doesn't move. And now we're going to cut out the pattern, leaving the neckline, because we'll be using a v-neck neckline on this pattern. For the neckline, I'm going to come down by 5" as shown. I'm going to mark at that. Then I'll be using my ruler to make a V neckline. So from that point, I'm going to make a V-shaped neckline. So you just have to slant your ruler as shown. And that will be all for the V neckline. Then I'm going to make a straight line across to the zipper allowance line. So this is it, and we'll be cutting this out. Now after cutting this out, this is what we have. This is the back, this is the V neckline, and I'm going to label it as my back. Now you can just place this on your fabric and cut exactly the way it is on your fabric. Just cut it the way it is on the pattern paper. So this is the half length. You can cut this out and add whatever it is you want to add, your gathers to it, to make a complete dress. So this will be all for this tutorial. I hope you learned something. I will be seeing you in my next video. Do have a nice day. Bye.